So what actually Fed is doing in this real estate market in 2022, everybody is kind of worried about where this market is going to head, especially after this, like after June. I mean, in June, we saw like in 35 years, we haven't seen that much hike in the interest rate happened. And that's what happened. So it feels like this last 3 years has been really a crazy market. And I still use this word because we do not know. A lot of people has a fear, anxiousness, like where actually this market is headed. So we are going to discuss in this video what actually Fed is trying to do. Is it going for the crash or is it going in a different direction? So let's discuss in this video right now. Welcome to my channel. My name is Komal Acharya. I am a local real estate agent in Florida area. So today in this video, we are going to talk about interest rates, market, real estate, hot news, like what is actually right now in the air is like, is this market going for a crash or in some other direction? Let me know first of all your thoughts, what you think where this market is going, or in your area what you are experiencing. Are you feeling that it's going to go and crash, or is kind of the fair strategy to balance the market? So comment me below. I would love to hear from you. And if you have bought the house or are you buying house in month of June in 2022, let me know what are your thoughts, what is your anxiousness. Like, I would love to hear from you guys. Before I start this video, I was researching online and a couple of things, not just my opinion, but what's there in the air. That's what I was trying to see nationally. This video is not just for the Florida real estate market because every area is kind of different, but right now we are talking in this video is more national real estate market. So one of the very interesting article I came across, and that's what I'm going to discuss in this video, and I'll give my opinion. I never claim I'm always right, but yes, I'm in the market. I buy properties but for myself, for the investments, and I help a lot of buyers, especially in this market. So we do come across like a back end, what exactly happens when you're putting the offers, what problems we are facing, even right now also what we are facing. So that based on that, I would like to give my opinion, but you guys can share your experience too, because you are, if the active buyers, you must have come across the experiences by yourself, and I would love to hear in the video, and from that your experience, maybe other buyers would learn from it. This channel goal is like we gather the correct information, honest information. This is nothing about buying, selling, just with us. It's more about the information basically you get from this channel. That's the goal of this channel, and yes, that's why I would love to hear from you guys. So this article, what I came across, it was very interesting, even title, and that I actually believe in. The title was like, the Fed plans to reset the housing market, raising likelihood of falling home prices. So let's talk more in detail where this home prices will go, however it is going for the crash or the balance. So reset word is very important to understand. Like a lot of people right now kind of worried about is it going just like 2008. So I created a lot of my old videos about the real estate market, and that's what I have been keep saying about the main issue of this market is the inventory. And what I feel, the Fed, by doing this, increasing the rates, like crazy high rates, I hope they don't increase, very fast. So, people like that scareness, like this inflation is killing affordability. That's something kind of not good news. But however, this market, how it was rising, one or other way, if the reset doesn't happen, then the price would be more higher and the affordability question for almost everybody. So even right now, like what we saw, especially in Florida market, last 2-3 years, affordability has been honestly questioned. Not only just the home prices, but the gas prices, even grocery prices have been increased. So those all things kind of adding up in the inflation, especially even after this war, Ukraine war, that's also added a lot of spices in inflation, as we know. So let's talk particularly right now in the month of June, what Fed is trying to do and what can happen. Of course, a lot of people will disagree with me. They will not be happy what's happening. Even I'm not happy too what's happening. This market has been giving a lot of extra fears to the home buyers, especially buying for first time. Already you are not prepared to buy, and when this kind of changes happens, it's kind of a little bit crazy to understand what's kind of happening. So it's that skepticality, like what you call is the confusion, that's killing everybody. If you see last 2 to 3 years, the major problem was, I say it's a problem because how the percentage of increase happened, that's kind of again created a mess in the whole market, and that's what increased their inventory issue, because the sellers were kind of expecting anything they want, and that's what they were getting still. So right now also we still see the multiple offers. It's not been changed, but yes, this increasing the interest rate is creating that fears now, where a lot of buyers are kind of thinking of backing out. I'm not saying totally backing out, but they want to see where this market is going. So let's read this article in detail, and we are going to go step by step what they say and what I agree or not. So in the first paragraph, they have written that the central bank quickly raised interest rates, which saw the average 30-year mortgage rate climb to almost 6%, straight from 3.2% at the start of the year. So those higher rates, which have priced out many home shoppers, ultimately ended the pandemic housing boom. Now we are in a sharp slowdown, with the Mortgage Bankers Association reporting on Wednesday that mortgage applications are down 16% on year-over-year basis. So as you see that, I told you guys, a lot of, especially in May and June, what we felt is people are getting confused. They are kind of holding back the decision. Again, that doesn't mean the buyers are not in the market. There are a lot of baby boomers are in the market. However, because the market has shown something different, last 2 years we see the rise. Initially also, when these changes were happening, we saw this kind of slowdown happen, especially when the pandemic actually started. So see, any market is not a perfect market. That's my opinion, and I have seen a couple of different markets in my career. Honestly, there is no perfect market for buyers or sellers. Either one thing happens, let's say prices increase, the interest rates goes down, interest rate goes up, prices decrease. So at this moment we see the higher price and the interest rate being high. So definitely we are expecting, first of all, to crash. This is not, we are talking about the crash, because we still see the buyers in the market and still the inventory is low. So first, going down before that stage, I feel has to be the balanced market. Before, let's say the pandemic, normally in any area in Florida where if you need to buy the house, we never experience the multiple offers. Only in a couple of cities we have seen the higher demand, where the number of days in a market the property is lower versus the higher. So average before number of days in a market was 60 to 90 days, and now it's been only 30 days in majority of the area. So that has to go down first before the prices goes more lower. So definitely the reality, I told you, the sellers were started expecting whatever number they want. They didn't care about the prices, comparables, or what is the actual value of the house. Because the prices were going above the appraisal value, a lot of people were buying on cash, so the sellers' expectation were going on the roof. So that's something it's going to change first by this interest rates going up. Still, Fed says it's going to go a little bit more higher by end of this year. Again, it's scary for the buyers who are actively in a market. However, that's one way it's a good news, because you are not going to pay overpriced, and that's what a lot of buyers worry always, where they are paying, they were paying the overpriced in any of the property above the asking value. Asking value anyways was nothing considerable the market value. So it was just like, for sellers it was like a dream market where whatever the number they wish, they would get it if it is in a correct location. So in one of the paragraph they mentioned that total number of active listing is referred to as inventory. Of course, as everybody knows, since 2014 annual inventory levels have been declining. So it was not just in pandemic, but since 2014 we have seen change where it was a little bit heading towards a seller's market. So it was slowly going towards a seller's market. That was driven partly by shifting household preferences, lower levels of home building following the 2008 housing crash, and the onset of millennial first-time home buying. But once the pandemic housing boom took off, inventory levels began to nosedive. Wow. By spring 2021, inventory hit a 40-year low. Wow. That's the point here, that the main comparison between 2008 and current market is the inventory. This is whatever the problem caused. Problem means like how the raise happened. That was just because main reason was the inventory being low, and that was actually the low. It's not like low for a couple of months. It was like less, like the inventory normally stayed 6 to 7 months in most of the area or most of the states. But what we experienced in last 3 years, it was less than even a month. Less than even a month, which is crazy. That's why it says the inventory hit low in last 40 years. We haven't experienced that thing. That has given home buyers little choices, but to bid up the home prices if you really want to buy the property. So that was the main reason we saw that the boom happened. Now what Fed is trying to do is the housing cool down caused by rising mortgage rates will help to push inventory levels up. That's the number one change we will see. The inventory has to go up to lower the home prices. We see a lot of houses are reducing the numbers. We are seeing that happening even in a Florida market. However, that's something is, I'm saying like the lowering the number, it's not like below market value they're going. But over expectations are coming at the ground level, like in a reality check, because the sellers like who were over expecting like the prices at the moon, that's something they are not going to get even in now next few months, or they were not getting in last 2 months even when the interest rates started raising up, or the news. The Fed has already gone the warnings, I think so. First warning came in February, March. Since then, the buyers, either some of the buyers were actively in a market, were rushing to make a decision, or who were not very active in the market, they were like kind of taking a little cool down and seeing that, okay, let's see where the market is heading. So because of that reason, we saw, especially in month of May, a lot of prices has been dropped, but it has to go more lower than only the prices, overall prices or median sale price will go low. And also it will help buyers, and the thinking being when shoppers restart their house, and they will be met with the friendlier market. Higher inventory levels would give buyers more time to decide and reduce the chance they will have to engage in a bidding war. So that's something, the first change. I also agree with the Feds, that's what's going to come. And that's why, of course, the articles, like they use the word reset, and that reset, it's kind of now happened to be necessary because, the inflation is kind of going over like crazy. And now, of course, the interest rates are going up. That's number one thing a lot of people are afraid of, like affordability of the houses. But watch out, in few months you will see how the changes are, like the house prices changes will kind of bring some kind of balance. I'm not saying 100%. It also depends on where the property will be, the location. It's very, very important right now in this market, because not every location would show similar change. changes, because still inventory is very low. And it's going to be low because let's say if the seller wants to sell house and want to buy, they still have to buy in a higher number. So now those people who were like in a dilemma, that will not be taking action. So the inventory still kind of going up in some cities which are like very famous. For example, in South Florida, we have cities like Parkland, Weston. Those are like very famous because of the great school zone. So those cities, I feel the slowdown would be coming much slower, or maybe first we see just the bidding wars reducing. Right now we are feeling on a back end the cash offers had been a little bit kind of in a control coming, because there was a time, I mean, especially in January and last year, last 6 months was crazy, like almost like they were getting 25 to 30 offers, and there's like 5-6 cash offers being very frequent in those areas. And if you hear the Fed news, they are thinking to raise a little bit still higher interest rate by end of this year, or if this fight can run into 2023 also. So if you are thinking to buy a house and if you feel like is this a good decision to buy or you should wait, I have created another video where in detail I'm explaining about what you should do in my other video. And if you are thinking to sell, this is still seller's market. As I told you, still the inventory is low. We are seeing the over expectation has been reducing, but not like getting the prices getting lower than the market value. So still we see the bidding wars are happening, still its demand is there. So where your property is, that's very important piece to decide if you want to sell. However, you should not wait a lot to sell the property if you're really planning to sell. A lot of investors are selling right now. However, they are still buying some other properties too. So it's not like, again, don't take me wrong. So my opinion is this is not going to crash. Going up to the crash level, a lot of changes has to be happen. So we cannot predict in 1 to 2 years it's going to crash. However, yes, this bidding wars needs to be stopped, because this is kind of creating that unpredictable market, because you do not know what other people are bidding on, and that's because of the low inventory. So definitely I see the choices would be increasing for the buyers. Inventory will be going up in next few months. However, if we talk about the interest rates, so this is my opinion. Interest rates, even though it's going up, however, if you think long term, this is going to your 30 years loan mortgage, there will be the time always the market resets from where it's going. So interest rates will go down in after a couple of years, or whenever there's opportunity for refinancing, you could refinance their property. So that's what I'm going to discuss in my next video. Should you buy or should you wait in this 2022 market?